Hey Freeps Nation, Jordan Page here. Do you want to learn how to do Disney on the cheap? Save a buck while having fun at the happiest place on earth? I'm your gal. I got some tips for you. Let's do it. That's right. I just got back from Disney World and Universal Studios Orlando. I also, just a few months ago, took my daughter on her 12th birthday trip to Disneyland. So while I'm no Disney pro, I do know how to get the very best bang for your buck at Disney World or Disneyland and would love to share a few of my top tips with you. Say that 5 times fast. First of all, I gotta take this off. It hurts my head. Ooh. Okay. Tip number 1, there's no such thing as doing Disney on the cheap. Sorry to burst your bubble, but the truth is Disney of any kind, Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Cruise, Disney Aulani, it's all expensive. It's a very luxury, nice vacation. So if you're looking for a cheap vacation that doesn't cost you a lot of money, I suggest going camping in your backyard. That's fun too. First tip is accept that Disney is an investment and be super intentional about it. In my frugal rule book, there is no problem with investing in something that's important to you and that you are wise about. So with a Disney trip, be intentional. Find out how much the trip is going to cost you ahead of time. Save up for that trip ahead of time. Set some goals, incentives, and have intention ahead of time. And then you will come away being able to maximize every dollar that you invested in the trip and make memories that will last you a lifetime. Because the truth is, Disney isn't for everybody. Yes, it's fun. It's also extremely expensive, extremely crowded, really long wait times, and it can be kind of confusing and overwhelming if you don't have a plan. Save up, be intentional, have a plan, and you will have a blast. Part of that plan should be squeezing every dollar for what it's worth. That's what I'm here for. My next tip is do Disney off season. As with any travel, there are peak seasons and there are slow times. Though, is there really such thing as a slow time at Disney? Debatable. If you're traveling during spring break, Christmas break, summer break, or any holiday, peak season. Weekends, peak. Weekdays, less so. So if you want to maximize your experience and your money, travel off season. The flights will be cheaper, hotels and rentals will be cheaper, and there will be way less crowds, which allows you to get more, do more, experience more in the same amount of time. For us, our favorite time to go to Disney is in February. It's a ghost town. Nobody's there. The lines are shorter, flights are cheaper. It's great. Another good time is September, right after everybody jumps back into school before the fall and winter holidays hit. So if possible, to take off work and school, travel off season, and it will make a difference. My next tip is that when you go to Disney, consider renting a house or Airbnb instead of a hotel. But you gotta do the math to make sure it makes sense. Sometimes you could get a crazy good deal at a hotel, and sometimes those hotel deals will even get you discounts or free tickets into the parks. So do your math. With our large family of 10, we're a 3 hotel room family at this point, so it is way cheaper for us to rent a house. The trip we just got back from, we went with 3 families in total. There was 19 of us. So it was a no-brainer. We rented this awesome house. It was themed. It was fun. It had its own pool, had 8 bedrooms, so we were all able to fit comfortably. The other benefit to renting a house is that it allows you to cook and prepare and store your own food a lot easier than it is at a hotel. And by splitting that house with 3 families, it really subsidized the cost, so it was very affordable for each of us. This brings me to my next tip, which is food. The fastest way to go broke at Disney is to buy all your food in the parks. It's expensive. It really is. For us, we ordered groceries from Walmart and had them delivered right to our rental house. They were there shortly after we arrived on the first night. It allowed us to cook breakfast at home every day, saving us literally hundreds. Pack lunches that we ate every day in the park. We were able to have snacks. And then on our off days when we weren't at the park, we were even able to make dinner at home at certain points. By packing your own food, it allows you to really, again, here's this word, be intentional about when to eat out. So for us, breakfast at the home every morning, packed our lunches and ate a really fun, yummy dinner and enjoyed some treats while we were out at the different parks. You can absolutely bring your own food and drinks into Disney, and you really, really need to. As long as it's not a cooler with wheels and as long as there's no alcohol or glass bottles, you're set. One of my tips is to bring a stroller, even if you don't have a child young enough that needs it. You can't bring a wagon into the park, but a stroller allows you to bring in drinks, sodas, candy, lunches, sandwiches. We brought in so much stuff, and having a stroller was a really convenient way to be able to pack as much as possible without getting tired carrying it around in backpacks. My next tip for saving money at Disney is to decide what you want to do before arriving at the park. For example, the group that we were with, we were definitely more of rides people. We wanted to ride as many rides as possible. Whereas maybe for your group, you're not so much rides people, you're more shows, parades, meeting the characters, souvenirs, that kind of stuff. If you're ride people, listen up. I've got tips for you. Number one is you might want to consider a park hopper. For us on our trip, we spent 2 days at Disney and 1 day at Universal, and then we had some beach days in between, which I'll get to. There are 4 worlds at Disney World, and we only had 2 days. So on those 2 days, we invested in a park hopper ticket, which was perfect because it allowed us to spend a half day at each of the parks, and it was totally satisfying, allowed us to do all the rides we wanted to do and really maximize our limited amount of time at Disney. If you are doing more than 2 days at Disney parks, it might not be worth it for you to do the park hopper because those are quite a bit more expensive, and it sounds like you'll have plenty of time to just be at one park per day and do everything you want to do. Another thing that costs extra money but absolutely is worth the investment, especially if you have limited time at Disney, is the Genie Plus Pass. That is essentially what used to be called the Fast Pass is now called Lightning Lane, and you get that when you sign up for their Genie Plus service. It's an extra, $18 to $25 per person per day, depending on your ticket and park, but it's worth it. It saves you so much time in line. So again, decide what you want before going, because for us, being rides people, spending an extra $20 per person that day 100% saved us money in the long run because we were able to do maybe twice as many rides as we would have been able to do without it, stretching our time, stretching our dollars, and providing way more bang for our buck. See? Clever, right? The other thing about the Genie Plus Pass is it allows you to get your ride photos at the end of rides. It's just included. You don't have to pay extra for that. So that's pretty fun because then it kind of turns into some free souvenirs. Might as well. Another tip for getting the most bang for your buck at Disney, especially if you're only there for a few days like we were, is to be there the minute it opens and to stay until it closes. You can sleep when you get home. You can sleep on your off days. You are investing so much money in going, might as well get every minute possible out of the parks. Where you stay and the ticket you buy can affect what time you can get into the parks, so be mindful of that. Also, when you are reserving your park tickets, which you do have to do now, look at the calendar because sometimes the park will close early. Especially, we went in October and it closed early some nights for Mickey's Halloween party or different events. So we made sure to schedule our Disney days on the days when the park was open as late as possible. Also, keep that in mind if you do a park hopper. For example, Animal Kingdom closes early. It's a smaller park, less attractions, and they don't have a fireworks show or parade. They close at 7. So we decided to do Animal Kingdom first on that particular day, get there right when it opens. We sprinted to the Pandora ride because it's worth it. Got as many other rides done as possible, and then by about 4 p.m., we hopped over to Magic Kingdom since Magic Kingdom was open till 11 p.m., and we were able to get an entire 7 hours out of Magic Kingdom and got 2 full parks in with all the experiences we wanted to do in 1 day for 1 ticket price. I know. Hold your applause. Now, you might be saying, Jordan, that sounds exhausting. Yeah, Disney's like super exhausting. If you want a vacation, go on a cruise or find a beach somewhere. This is a trip, baby, and a trip is all about experiences and squeezing the most magic possible out of your trip. So, this is a little sidebar tip. Space out your park days and plan leisurely days in between. We learned the hard way that it's not always very fun doing 2 park days in a row because they're just exhausting. So what we did is we did a Disney day, a sleep in and beach day. And then we did our second Disney day. We did a sleep in and pool day. We did our Universal day where we park hopped through both parks there. We did another beach day and then we flew home. And it was the perfect balance for us. It allowed us to recharge our batteries, rejuvenate, pick up more groceries if we needed, sleep in, get some sun, relax so that we were ready to rock and roll at the crack of dawn, nice and early the very next day at the parks. One way to save a ton of money at Disney is to be intentional about souvenirs and treats. Here's the truth. Disney's got some delicious stuff. They also have some really, really fun souvenirs that feel especially special when you're there in the park. But y'all, be careful because you will go broke if you're not careful. Our very best method that we have found to keep souvenirs and treats in check is to give each child in your family a budget at the beginning of the trip. Starting at about 5 or 6 years old, as soon as your kids are able to understand basic addition or subtraction, you can do this method. You give them a budget at the beginning beginning of the trip, let's say it's $50. You could give it to them on a gift card. You could give it to them in cash, but be careful because you could lose your cash pretty easily. Maybe it's on a little debit card, and then they choose how to spend their money. Maybe they blow it on one $50 souvenir, or maybe they pace it and they get themselves treats here, treats there, little thing here, little thing there. One of my kids didn't spend it on anything and just wanted to take it home and keep it. I was like, awesome. Throw it in your savings. I don't care. Decide the budget that's right for you, but this method works so well. I talked about this on Instagram. You should just go read the comments. There are tons of people who agree that this is a really great method. We cover the costs of admission, all the meals, and then of course, if we ever buy like a family treat to share, like popcorn, which I'll get to in a minute, but in terms of them having their own individual treat or their own individual souvenir, that's on them using their budget. It's not only a great way for you to plan ahead and be able to save up and budget for the trip properly, but it gives your kids autonomy. It gives them a chance to learn how to budget and how to spend. It teaches them delayed gratification, so many great life skills. Try it. Now let's talk about those family treats. When you're buying treats in the park, fun things you want to try, consider treats that are easily shareable. If you buy an ice cream bar, that's kind of hard to share. So focus on, again, stretching those dollars. For example, you can buy a bucket of popcorn at Disneyland. It's about $13 for the bucket, but you can refill it any day at any park throughout your stay for only $2.25. So we bought one of those buckets of popcorn on the very first day and then just refilled it throughout the day here and there and shared it as a family over and over. You can even get maple flavored popcorn from Canada and Epcot, and it's pretty delicious. The refill is a little bit extra, $3 and something, but it was tasty and you should try it. We also loved getting a caramel apple because we could cut it and we all share it. So keep in mind things that are easily shared and things that aren't. If you don't want to do that method of giving your child a budget, here's another souvenir method that could work really well for you, as it's worked well for us. And that is to take a photo of the souvenir your child wants and wait till the end of the day or the end of your trip to buy it. Every time you come out of a ride, you will find tons of souvenirs and toys that are specific to the ride you just went on. They do that on purpose because you get really excited and you want to buy that thing right then and there because you might not find it anywhere else, right? Wrong. Did you know that World of Disney outside the park has every souvenir from every gift shop in the park? So take photos of the souvenirs for your child every time they say, Mom, can I have this? I want this. Mom, I want this. Mom. Take a photo of your child holding it, take a picture of the price or where it is, whatever satisfies that child, and then tell them that at the end of the trip, they can look through all their photos and pick the one souvenir that they love the very, very most, and you will be able to find it at World of Disney. It teaches them delayed gratification, and it also teaches them the power of choice, that they have all these things they want, but they can't have them all, so which one would they like the very most? Chances are, half the souvenirs you took pictures of, they don't even want anymore by the end of the trip, so it's a good way also to just let them sit on it for a minute. A few more ways to save money with souvenirs is buy them before you even get into the parks. If you're going to Disneyland or Disney World, there are Targets and Walmarts and other stores within the vicinity of those parks that sell Disney licensed merchandise for a fraction of the price. So before you go to Disney, go to the Walmart nearby or the Target nearby and stock up on ears, pins, souvenir signature books, glow sticks, treats, t-shirts, all of it. And then you can pull them out throughout the day or throughout the week, and they still get the magic of these Disney souvenirs without paying 2, 3, 4, 5 times the cost in the parks. Same with glowy sticks and wands things. At the end of the night, when the sun sets, it's magic, and all of the glow vendors come out selling glowing wands and swords and light sticks. They are fun. They are also very expensive. Pack your own packs of glow sticks, buy your own glowing headbands or ears, buy flashers and things. You can get them off of Amazon. You can buy them at those stores near the parks, but packing your own, Disney does not mind. They don't care one bit, and crack them open at night and your kids will have a blast without you needing to spend more than you need to. One of my money saving tips, get matching shirts. Buy them before you get to Disney. We bought some customized tie-dye Disney shirts off of Etsy 2 years ago when we went to Disney as a group of 3 families. Those were a dream. We washed them throughout the trip, wore them each day to the park. Not only was it really easy to find find each other because they were so bright, but it was fun. And it eliminated the urge for us to buy the clothing at Disney while we were there. We didn't order shirts in time for this trip we just got back from. So we brought those old tie-dye shirts from 2 years ago. They still fit and they were great. We loved them. So I highly recommend getting shirts. It's fun. It's a great souvenir. They're functional, especially with a big group. By buying them ahead of time, you will buy them for cheaper than you would than finding clothing inside the parks. And my last tip is a funny one, but it does make a difference, and that is avoid toll roads. In Florida anyway, there are tons of toll roads, and those can really add up if you're driving around. For us, our rental house was about 30 minutes away from the parks, but it's a really simple thing to avoid. In your GPS, go into your settings and toggle the button that says avoid tolls. It will route you to the park. Sometimes it doesn't even change the driving time, but it will route you on paths where the roads are free and you don't have to pay. Because those $5 here, $5 there can really add up. And I don't know about you, but I'd much rather spend $5 on a churro than on a toll road. There you go. I know that was a lot, but those are all the Disney tips I could think of. What did I miss? What are your best tips? Please put them below. Like I said, I'm no Disney expert, but I have been around the block a few times, and you know, your girl knows how to save a buck or two and to stretch your money as far as possible. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me know what you want to see next. New videos every Thursday. Bye. MIC. See you real soon. KYMOUSE.